Chonju Sancho Rinpoche Mahi Panam Shejur Je Sheba Nyamba Mibat Kone Kondan Pera Sho. Good morning. I think today also we need to check the exam. And Polish guy, you already did, yes? And maybe this afternoon is organizations checking this. And then maybe later I offer to you the transmission of the Hondo. And then it's tomorrow maybe we can also offer, I will offer to you this chapter reading transmission now. And today is like we stopped, I think, yesterday, the beginning of the quotation. I'd said the Vinayana Sutta, yes? I think we stopped there, yes? And it says the just so of all subject of meditation for a follower of the Buddhas, the idea of impermanent is unsurpassed. It is very important. And also it's like impermanent is, we are talking about really reality. It is not kind of the like nobles or some histories. It is not like this. Maybe it's like one day and we coming across our like a kind of the sleep on our final bed, and also it's like eat our like kind of the last meal, and also it's like where we are clothed, and maybe it is the last moment of the times. And also when we are speaking to say something to the families, friends, anyone, maybe last word. And all the relatives, friends gather around for the hours and around to say, how are you? And also maybe it's like kind of the, and externally families, friends, they understood we cannot to stay more longer. And it is the time of the departure. And this kind of surely occurring in the future, coming across, will be. And at that moment, it is like, what can we do? And the time has come, and to the departure, the impermanent, nothing will like kind of the postpone it. It is impossible. Cannot make postpone by the even the long life Buddhas and the Buddha medicines, and even the like kind of the great master. Any persons cannot to postpone our like kind of the impermanent. And it's like kind of, we want to maybe it's like kind of state, but we become the powerless to stay. And in these situations, what can we do? Would you like to think a little bit, or just to ignore until to arrive there? That is, of course, we would to say it's like our choice. And in the, it's like the Vinayana Sutta and the Buddhas, he's in the Vinayana saying to remind for instance, the impermanence of the all compounded things is greater than giving food and offering to 100 of my disciples who are the practice vessel such as the Bhishus, Shariputra, and Mongalayanas. And this kind of the such great practitioners. And it is like kind of the Bushiku is like kind of the supreme, perfect keeper of the Vinayana, or the individual liberation vows, who is the Shariputra, and a great like kind of the intelligent, and the meditator or the monk, who is the Mangalayana. This kind of 100,000, if you kind of offering food, clothes, how much you have the accumulation merit. But instead doing that, maybe if you can to just like kind of the instant to meditate on impermanent, that is the more profound, more kind of the virtues, more kind of the accumulation merit. It is very important. If we can to logically to check this, if you kind of offering, maybe it's good food, you think it's like doing the accumulation merit, but in our like kind of the attitudes, we don't know. Maybe you think it's like doing, okay, I want to like kind of the accumulation merit. According that, maybe I will become famous, I will become rich, I will become kind of enlightenment. And something is like this. And it's a good, but maybe attitude is not ready. And it's outside, externally, you're doing some larger, big, and positive accumulations. But it's these large or big or profound external activities, it is very much depends our own inner attitude. If attitude is good, external things big is never become the profound. Maybe inner attitude and motivation is good. Maybe externally you're doing nothing, something, but at least small things, it's become the big things. Like this, most important is the inner attitude. And for example, when we are meditating on, like the single-mindedly, and meditate on impermanent, and in this kind of making the maturation of our minds, whatever we do, there's some positive, negatives. Maybe we haven't got much hope, and also it's like kind of thinking, if I'm become the rich, what it is the useful? Richness is impermanent. If I'm become the famous, what is the use? Famous also is the impermanent. It doesn't help for my death. It doesn't help for my impermanent. And it's like instead these things become, I would become the great authentic practitioner of the Dharma. Then it's like when you're thinking about the Dharma, you're thinking about compassion, you meditate compassion, you concern in all the benefit for all the sentient beings. And in this perspective, your inner maturation, inner development of your improve, and to understand the impermanent, understand of the situation of the sentient beings, maybe that is the more kind of profound. Maybe, for example, through that you practice authentic Dharma, authentically, unmistakably, if you will become the enlightenment perfectly, unmistakably, correctly, perfect Buddhas, then afterward, maybe it is the countless sentient beings you can to support, you can to help, not only the 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. Millions is like the kind of the limitless sentient beings. And in this perspective, it's meditating on impermanent. It is such a good, such a profound, such a beneficial. Instead that doing something externally, acting like kind of the recitation and the mantras and the generosity, artificial way. And that is not important. And here is the Buddha himself to saying like this. Therefore, to analyze the impermanent, it is very, very important. And also impermanent, as I said, that is like when it's coming across the impermanent, that moment, of course, our wish is like very much want to stay more, but we become very much powerless. Obviously, it's like incredible. And once I was with my dad in the shop, and he was like 72 or 3. He was died like 78 or something. And until there he's a very, very strong guy. And it's amazing. It's like a guy, very, almost he never sick and strong. And when he works, it's a really very, he can to work very hard. And we was in the shop and we are working there to like, and suddenly he's a little bit kind of sleep and almost falling down. And then say, Father, take care. And he says like, yeah, now it's like almost at the end of my life. Look, it's finished. It's like, I'm like, even though working like this, so much weak. And it's difficult to work. And he says like, I never have this kind of feelings. Like this, sometimes the kind of the how do you say, control of the old age. Even if we are not sick, but some in the certain old age, there's become the powerless. And then, of course, it's slowly, less and less. And then, of course, if we can to say the last bed, we need to stay there. At that moment, it's very much powerless. And then it's a trouble there. Someone is like certainly got the sickness. And then it's a different conditions coming. Then it's lesser and powerless. As much as we can take the medicine, see the doctors, and it's never become the powerful. And lesser and less. Then is finally there is no choice. There is like kind of impossible to like kind of the postpone it. And there's cannot to add any like kind of the age. We need to change our body. And that less like kind of powerless in the situations. And at that moment, what can we do? We need to, is the authentic Dharma that moment. Very, very important. Then is a lay, the disciple, asked Geshe Potova, which Dharma practice was the most important if one had to choose only one? The Geshe replied. And it's like his disciple to say, it's like maybe in the manga of the Dharma, what I need to is like to practice. Maybe it's like some single like kind of the object. Maybe I will to practice, continue until I might die. And could you tell me which is the most important? If you want to, Geshe replied to saying that, if you want to use the single Dharma practice to meditate on impermanence is the most important. And then it's like how, why? And that is like he more asked, okay, if I'm like the single-mindedly to practice or meditate on the impermanent, which kind of the benefit? And he more asked to the Geshe Potapa. And then is the Potopas more continue to explain it. Like he said, at the first meditation on the death and impermanence, make you take up the Dharma. Maybe it is very much a truth. If we do not realize that the human existence and the impermanent, and it's like not much interest to practice Dharma. And because our ideas is I'm forever, and all the externally, my position, my family, my friend, my house, my car, everything is like kind of substantially existence. Even that is like in front of the me, in the front of the me. Maybe if there's something died, father, mother, some is different, but still we don't think about the impermanent. And in this, we don't think about the impermanent. We are not really serious practice Dharma. And in this perspective, really we have really honestly, utterly to realize that the impermanent. Then it's like to do the Dharma or the practice of Dharma is very easy, absolutely easy. Once while I was, it's like very much hungry to the ice cream. You know, it is like, and then I want hungry, and really I want to eat, and then I bought, maybe it's I don't know, it's a lot, and then I eat, and it's difficult to stop. But it's sometimes after that I got the diabetic. Of course, it's delicious. I understood it is a poison for me. But then sometimes you eat, maybe it's maybe 1 or 2 spoons, and kind of there's satisfied. And it's kind of, okay, it is enough like this. And what my example is, if you is kind of not understand realization of the impermanent, you say it's okay, that there's many impermanent. Maybe if I practice Dharma, it's maybe fun. Maybe it's good. Maybe I can to get a power. Maybe I will to have some clairvoyance. Maybe it is to get the supernatural power. And okay, do a little bit. Enough. It is kind of, it's a benefit or not benefit. I never hear that. Result or not result. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 spoons, maybe not result. It's okay, not much effective. But that is then it's maybe slowly there's hesitation is coming. If you really you are hungry, you want to kind of your mind, never is this, oh yes, now I understand the impermanent, and this benefit for the impermanent. One is when I be in the order to approach to the thing. It works? Okay. And then it's when we practice Dharma, it really is until we be enlightenment, there's no satisfactions. Wonderful, the dissatisfaction. Every day you to do the practice things, there's kind of hurry up, wanted to each moment. And once I was kind of feeling, normally when I eat medicines, really I'm hesitated. I will eat or not, I'm checking like this. Once I have a very strange allergy, very, very strange here in the beginning. And then it's I went to their daughter, and he says, I give you one medicine, maybe that is very good. Are you sure? I said, yes. And then he gave me scriptures. I really urging, go to in the chemistries to buy immediately. I eat it. There's no hesitations, doubt. Of course, it is also very benefit. Just 1 day is very much effective. It's cured. Nothing there is more anymore. And this is when you understood, really is necessary what we need to do. Then if we have inspired, enthusiastic, and really appetite, then it's very easily to enter into the Dharma. Therefore, when we are thinking about impermanent, and it can bring to us really into the Dharma. And then it's in the middle, it is conduced to the positive practice, and is giving the great condition support to you. If we do the understand realization of the impermanence, and this knowledge, this understanding and insight when we have, and then it's each moment, whatever we do, maybe making food, maybe clean a house, maybe it's a chatting, maybe you are in the office, maybe you are driving, but each moment you're thinking, then there's when you remember the impermanent, you all the time want to do something, virtue things and positive things, to practice positive automatically. You don't need to put kind of effort. and it's like kind of very much supported to you, and it's like naturally, automatically. Then it's like to positive practice automatically. That is the wonderful. At the moment, it's like when we need to do the positive virtues, accumulation, merit need to do, we need artificially, we need to push ourselves. You should do it. You should do it. Every day you push ourselves, do it. Then finally, it's like ourselves also hesitated. And it's like this, do the positive things. All the time talking about positive. And now I'm fed up. I don't want to do like someone. This kind of. But positive is a reality. You want to do or not you want to do. And this depends on ourselves. And you need to more and happy, comfortable. And also it's like there's a need to more stable, like kind of the comfortable life. We need to positive. Positive means it is the cause of the happiness. And positive is like kind of not religious word. Positive, even we can to say worldly, we can to say, we go to the business areas, you go to the scientific areas, you go to the development areas, you go to be the front of the government, even the communists and no believer of the anti-religious, they're talking about the positive and negative. And this means if you say, why you say the positive, yes, this is you are a good person because you are follow the communists, you are follow the like government rules, and you're doing correctly things. This is positive. If I'm correctly to do, if I follow you, if I'm respect to your rule, if I'm become the positive, how it is the benefit? Oh yes, you can earn more money. You have got many positions. You are happy. See? You are talking about happy. Oh yes, and you are talking about the cause of the happiness. Oh yes, and then you should to believe the religious. Oh no, religious is poison. But also they're talking about the positive and the negative. This is like our common understanding. Which is the make the happy, comfortable, and to get food, clothes, these things. It's we call the positive. If we can to say it's like do not negative say. Even the government, even the no-believers, even the like kind of atheist says, do not do the negative things. Which kind of? Don't kill, don't become the criminal, don't become the murder, don't do the like these things. If you break the government law, you doing negative things. Okay, if I'm doing these negative things, what is the result? Oh, negative. What do you mean negative? Or they bring to you in the prisoner, maybe they torture you, maybe they beat you. If I'm beat, they torture what? Surely you are suffering. Okay. Maybe also this is religion. They say, no, but this is just like this. And then it's also you talking about the negative, which is the suffering, pain, and the hurting like this. And like this is obviously, it is not kind of the religious, even in the normal life, we're talking about positive, negative. The meaning is the cause of the positive, cause of the negative, result of the positive, result of the negative. That is the very important. We need to sometimes like to analyze them when we study Dharma, when we listen to teaching, when we the study books. Sometimes there's talking about positive, negative. You should do something the abandoned. You should to denial. Some things you should to adopt tolerantly. You should to practice. What is positive, negative, positive, negative. But sometimes too much to hear the positive. Then our understanding is like a partiality, going to direction. This is maybe religious word, and it's like this. This is not religious, and it's very important to concern in our life, in these appearances or this like kind of phenomena. In this perspective, there is positive and negative, 100%, and there's we need each moment naturally, automatically to positive thing practice. It's wonderful, and we make it doing something benefit ourselves. We are making kind of improve, and we are making the like positive development ourselves. Then we need to practice the positive things. Therefore, in the end, it is helps you realize the sameness of all the phenomena. Of course, this is quite deep and the profound sameness of all the phenomena. All the phenomena of the samsara, phenomena of the the samsara and nirvana. And whatever exists in this world, and the phenomena of the positive and the negative, phenomena of the good and bad, all the phenomena is included. Everything is animate, inanimate. This is like sameness. And the good and bad, how is it become the sameness? Samsara and nirvana, how is it become the sameness? And also it's like the Buddha and sentient beings, how is it become the sameness? And higher and low is how it become the sameness. This is like kind of the specifically, like the sameness means it's the true nature of the realities. Yesterday we are talking a little bit, we can to say maybe it's in the essential mind, principal mind. The nature of the mind is in this perspective, it is the positive thoughts, negative thoughts, both is the same. Because it's nothing kind of different. Both is the expression of these two natures, realities. And for example, in the water's perspective, the essence, it is like a nature of the essence. It is not nature characteristics of the muddy or the dirty or cleanness. But this is the really universal, this water. The essence, nature, in this perspective, the same, dirty or clean water, both is. Because it's like this perspective, water has become dirty, itself will never become dirty. If water is clean, the essence nature never need to clean up. Itself is all the time, primordially, inherently it is go beyond and pure or impure. But from that, like kind of the expression, or it's like a display, and like kind of the qualities, and this possible to alternately to can come appear good and bad, but good and bad is like kind of it's in this perspective is absolutely same. But for our and at the moment, it's very much we are like kind of filled into some negative aspect way, and negative aspect way, and there's such dualistic minds. How it is studied, how it is like we have at the beginning, in the point of the nature of the mind, there's sometimes like and a very subtle, it's like kind of the thoughts. I forgot it. Do you know the Hunj? Translate? Hunj selek. Hunj tamo sechule. Not to tamo. Subtle thoughts. It's a you can't say it, but Hunj tamo is I forgot this maybe can check. Okay, but it's like very manipulated thoughts. It's very, very subtle. And in the negative aspect, we call the co-emergence ignorant, inherent ignorant. Very, very subtle is a kind of the movement in the current. This one is a little bit move, and we are like kind of shocked. Something is like a coming out, like a perceiver and percept. Like kind of the object and the perceiver of the mind is coming. And there is something is like coming, and then it's like the kind of the formation means is the more movement as occurring. And then more movement is occurring, and then it's roughly, and the later is the liberally ignorant. So liberally ignorant is more rough ignorant, like more strong dualistic. And beginning is like start that. Then is the beginning of our samsara. Beginning of our mind is a wander into the sam. Then is like more dualistic the directions, and we come to say negative aspect directions. And in this perspective, it's a very difficult to realize the sameness. Why? Because it's like we think, yesterday we talking about the daydream and night dreams. Like we all the time is like which perceive and perceivers. And it's like kind of something we need to appearances, and we all the time is holding, all the time considering something is externally, surely there is existence. Even it's like introduced to there's nothing existence, difficult to believe that. Very strong holding. And therefore is the dualistic perspective is very difficult. But if we are more to meditate on impermanent, and maybe it's like when we analyze the impermanent, saying the compound things are the impermanent, we are thinking about these atoms, particles, and we go to more like this. Everything is like not there is existence, something unique like kind of atoms, or the like single atoms. It's everything is compounded. Everything is like kind of the different collections, and in this perspective, we go deeply. When we go deeply, maybe easily to realize the sameness. And we are thinking about the times. And it's like we're born, we're budding, and we are dying. There is like kind of in the dualistic, in the relative perspective, there is the three times. But when we more approaches, it's difficult to say there is existence of the three times, past, future, present. And through the analysis under the impermanent, maybe it's a true researching that maybe we can to realize the sameness of all the phenomena. Therefore, meditating on the impermanent, it is very, very important. Then on another explanations. The first meditation on impermanent make you cut the ties with the things of these lives. And the ties is like kind of bounded things. It's like kind of the rope or something is like to bound it, tidy up in ourselves. We cannot remove nothing. We have such like kind of the rope and the ties about the clinging, desire attachment, wrong ideas, ignorant to thinking is like wrong way, impermanent things, thinking permanent, and contaminated things we are thinking incontaminated. And compounded things we are thinking about the incontaminated, and also it's like this kind of we are really is like we are not forever in this life, but thinking we are like the forever in these things, and this kind of wrong ideas, improper conceptual thoughts, dualistic minds, and perspective. There is like kind of the ropes, like tires to tidy up our minds. And in this case, it's very difficult to cut this one. All the times desire attachment, all the times clinging, all the times like kind of the craving true in this life, samsaras. And says like, I need to go to practice the Dharma, but I need to do this and that. And of course, I understood the impermanent, but I need to do this and that in the worldly. I cannot think much about the impermanence. And once I remember in my village, there's one person's died. And my teachers went to there to making them poor. And he got the like kind of very strange phlegm or the like sickness from the grass. It just maybe 1 or 2 days, 100% going die, definitely. And then it's like just before die, and then the Rinpoche says, now is the time to remember that you have some pity distortion. Did you study in Poa? I'm going to remind you to make Poas. And he doesn't want to listen. And he has a big family, but Rinpoche, can you make prayer? But sure, I will getting better. I have planned this, I have planned that. I will getting better, I will do this and that. Because for my family, for my young son, the old son, my son, someone's in the monk, someone's they married. And he's talking about that. And the Rinpoche just look at again. And finally, he's a little bit shouting to him, can you cut this thinking about that? Now you are the times going to die. And he don't believe that. Still listened. like kind of talking his like things. And then he's watching and finally talking and talking and talking and talking. Then it's powerless. Then finally like he's saying things like this. And then that moment, and the Rinpoche make him power, of course, it's died. And he come back and he told me, in this situation, almost his tear is coming. And what can we do is, in this perspective, that himself or the self is going to die, but still talking about this. For example, Dharma practitioners, really, you understand the impermanent in this situation? Yes, my impermanent is the truth in the relatively. Now is the time. What is the use force to clinging to the families, to talking about the families? Maybe it's like that moment, if you are good families, father or mothers, yes, I have this, that, take it away, give to everything, bye-bye. And it's maybe au revoir, maybe not. And to say departure is like this. And then it's like need to, how we can to go ourselves. One is like the separated, that moment, body and the consciousness, and the same as this book, and maybe left our families, few days cry, maybe 1 or 2 days. And then they cannot keep our corpse. They may be burned, they put on they want to immediately destroy it. Of course, they say laughter, but they immediately want to destroy it. Maybe they cut, give birth, or maybe put in the water, or maybe burn, maybe it is finish it. Okay, good, now it's finished a cup. Okay. If sometimes someone's a little bit to do the positive things, good, but most people, they don't do. Maybe a few weeks, 1 week, good family, maybe longer 1 or 2 weeks, then forget it. Absolutely. Maybe these parents or maybe these persons done to us such good things, but forgot. And then started talking about the, these proportions and what is the left, these things, which is belong you, which one you want to take. Then they start to argue, dead person is forgotten. And then is in this perspective, your own individuals, they are lonely consciousness to be in the intermediate state pardo, who can to be companions, not father, not mother, not children, not partners, nothing. There's even maybe we are rich owner of this world. There's nothing, one sense is cannot to bring. At that moment is with us, positive and the negative, these deeds is there is. Negative deeds more making problems, obstacles, terrified. And the positive things more support. It is like kind of the helping and the to be guide. And that moment, what we done in the past, we have that moment. That is our like kind of picnic food. That is our kind of support. That is our navigation. And in this moment, we need like a positive and the Dharma. That moment is we are a little bit sad. Well, I got the how to say human existence. I have opportunity to practice. I have had opportunity to practice Dharma, but I didn't done nothing. And so all my human life is I spend it like kind of useless way. Now I'm in the pardo of the like in the intermediate pardo. That moment is like we have such different appearances. How I can to control, how I can to, there is such a terrified, like the same as is in this pardo. This is a pardo of the, like kind of the birth. We are called the between of the birth, morning, and until, or maybe when we born until we die. Can we recognize? And in this, in the appearances, we don't know, but sometimes there's not like kind of something disaster things happens. Even the sound is like ugly something, or maybe big sound is coming, we are shocking and we are afraid and like this. There is like the kind of the movement of the happy, sorrow, and the scaring and the comfortable. There's exactly the same when we will be in the pardo of the intermediate. And at that moment, we need to something strength into our mind by the coffee. So, okay, we can pause 5 minutes.